Standing outside of Liberty Fest, New York City, speaking with Tom Mullen. Mr. Mullen is the author of A Return to Common Sense and
Reawakening Liberty and the Inhabitants of America.
It's also my understanding that you're a writer for the Washington Times as well?
That's right.
What are you doing at Liberty Fest, first of all?
Well, I wanted to come down and speak on the subject that I spoke about, the declaration of war power. I think it's probably the most important power granted in the Constitution, and even some of the people who support it, I think, don't understand it completely. Most people understand it to be the Congress giving the President permission to wage war, when that's not really what it is. It really is the declaration that we are already at war because of some act of aggression, some act of war committed by the other nation against the United States. And the reason we haven't been able to declare war in any of the wars we've been involved in since World War II is because there have been no acts of war committed against the United States. So I think it's something that's important. I think for people who support liberty candidates, they should be quizzed on this, and we should be sure that they really know what it means, that before they will authorize any use of the military, they have to know what a state of war is, and that there is one before we go invading or bombing some other country.
I was speaking with you earlier and I was telling you that I continue to get confronted by Republican establishment as well as on the Democratic side referring to the liberty movement and liberty-minded voters as being Ron Paul wingnuts. And I was telling you that the one issue that I raised with the liberty movement is the fact that they need to get back to the principles of liberty without putting Ron Paul in front. In other words, it's kind of like the cult of personality. Where do you see the liberty movement going from this point? And is it fair to say that the liberty movement is in fact just people who are determined to live free and limited government, to actually have the liberty to exercise the rights given by the Constitution without government interference?
Well, yeah, I think that Ron Paul's campaign brought a coalition together that included this liberty movement that had been going on for decades, and also brought in Democrats and independents who happened to agree with him on many things, and also admired the fact that he's honest, and he actually gives the same speech to a liberal audience as he does to a conservative one, as he does to a moderate one. So I think there's a lot of people that respected his integrity, and that's the reason they were involved. But then there's a lot of other people, as I said, that have been doing things for decades. And I think, hopefully we've brought some of those people that really just got involved because of Ron Paul into the principled movement and are starting to learn about some of the ideas. I think educating the public is the most important thing, because no matter what you do in the political realm, if you practice civil disobedience or whatever it is that you are doing to advance the cause, you have to convince other people to support you, because unfortunately, even though our rights don't come from the government or from other people, they do have the power to violate them, and they will keep on doing it in ignorance if they don't learn.
There's two congressional candidates that were here tonight. One was Mike McDermott, who's actually running as a libertarian candidate, who's been frozen out of the debates that are taking place with New York's 12. And then you have Dan Holleran, who is actually running as a Republican conservative libertarian. I'm not quite sure exactly what party that is, but Mr. Holleran told me tonight on video that he doesn't feel that using the libertarian movement for votes is selling out. He says that there's some people that were here tonight that were anarchist and extreme right. And I asked him, because the organizers of this festival have some issues that Mr. Holleran's used the liberty movement and now is trying to distance himself from it for the Republican establishment. What do you say to candidates like that? I mean, are they going to continue to manipulate and play the liberty movement?
Well, I mean, I'm not familiar with Mr. Holleran's campaign or what his platform is. I think that it's not necessarily a bad thing that an establishment Republican feels like he has to, you say, use the libertarian movement, but he's going to have to order his actions according to their wishes if he wants their votes. And I think in the realm of politics, really what gets results is when these people feel that they need our consent to stay in power. And even if they don't believe deep down in everything that we believe in, if they feel they have to govern according to our principles, I think that's a victory. It's a good thing. And I hope that there's more of him around going forward.
One issue that I've dealt with as recently as last night at dinner in D.C. is people saying, oh, what are the Ron Paul or the Liberty people going to do? Are they going to vote for Obama just because Paul didn't get the nomination? And I've tried to explain that just from my own experience in covering the movement since April, that this isn't about Ron Paul, and it's not about one person. But the more I talk to people, I do understand that people are sick of the lesser of the two evils. I asked Mr. Holleran this tonight, and he said that the bottom line is that the Liberty movement has to understand that you have to go with what is electable.
First things first is that
I know for a fact that most of the people here tonight are not going to vote for Barack Obama or Mitt Romney come November, and they're going to vote their conscience. Are we going to get to a state in this nation to where it's going to be we're going to stop voting for the lesser of the two evils and make a stand, or is this just all for show?
Well, I think that the best thing you can do in this election is vote for one of the third parties. I guess third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or whatever. Gary Johnson's a very viable candidate. He hasn't gotten a lot of press. I've been covering him. He's not a perfect libertarian, and I've written about that and challenged him on 2 different interviews as far as some of the places where I think he varies from our principles. But I think that the greatest thing that could happen would be a surge in votes away from the Republican or Democratic establishment, voting for a third party. Even if you're an anarchist, it shows that no, you do not consent to the status quo. And I don't think it's a sacrifice of your principles, because you can only give your consent individually. So you're not giving your consent by casting a vote. What you're trying to do is move the political process and achieve something. And I think the best thing you can do is, vote Gary Johnson, or if you don't like Gary Johnson, vote one of the other parties.
Tom, where's the website people can go and read your postings and your information?
TomMullen.net, and that's mostly links to my Washington Times Communities column, and there's also links to my book and other information that I think people should know.
The book is available on your website and?
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the...
And the title of the book again?
It's A Return to Common Sense, Reawakening Liberty and the Inhabitants of America.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.